Maya Chen, executive secretary for 5 years at the most aggressive tech company in Silicon Valley, had always been the silent shadow behind CEO Marcus Stone, a man known for his cold demeanor and for making seasoned executives tremble. On the company's 10th anniversary, during what was meant to be the pinnacle of corporate success, Maya makes a decision no one expected. She publicly confronts her boss about years of disrespect and manipulation, revealing truths that shake not only Marcus, but the entire power structure of the company. What begins as a moment of courage turns into a journey of self-discovery that forces them both to face who they truly are behind their corporate masks. Before we begin, tell us, what city or country are you watching this story from? It's always incredible to know how far these narratives reach. The champagne glass trembled in Maya Chen's hand as she stood in the corner of the gleaming conference room, watching Marcus Stone command the room like he always did. Tonight was different, though. Tonight was the company's 10th anniversary, and tonight was the night she'd finally had enough. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus's voice cut through the corporate chatter like a blade. 10 years ago, I had a vision that most people called impossible. His steel-gray eyes swept across the room full of investors, board members, and employees. Maya had seen this speech rehearsed a dozen times in his office, had typed every word, had scheduled every pause for maximum impact. She knew he would pause here, 3 seconds, just long enough to let the weight of his words settle. Today, Stone Dynamics isn't just a company, we're an empire. The applause erupted as expected. Maya didn't clap. She couldn't. Her hands were too busy gripping the resignation letter folded in her jacket pocket, the letter she'd written and rewritten 17 times in the past month. Maya, the sharp whisper came from beside her. Jennifer from HR leaned closer. He's looking for you. The presentation remote isn't working. Of course it wasn't. Maya had been Marcus Stone's executive secretary for 5 years, which meant she was responsible for everything from his coffee temperature to crisis management. The remote probably needed new batteries, something any competent adult could figure out. But Marcus Stone didn't handle his own technical difficulties. That's what he had Maya for. She moved through the crowd with practiced invisibility, the skill she'd perfected after years of being treated like expensive office furniture. As she approached the podium, Marcus's eyes found hers with that familiar look of expectant irritation. "The remote's dead," he muttered without breaking his smile for the audience. "Fix it. Now." Maya reached into her purse and pulled out the spare batteries she always carried. As she worked to replace them, Marcus continued his speech, his voice booming with artificial warmth. "Success isn't just about having a great product. It's about having people who understand that excellence isn't negotiable, people who know that in this company, we don't accept anything less than perfection." Maya's fingers fumbled with the battery compartment. People who understand, people who know. Never employees who contribute or team members who excel. Always just people, nameless, faceless resources. "Some of you have been with us since day one," Marcus continued, his gaze sweeping past Maya as if she were transparent. "You've seen how we've built this empire from nothing, how we've crushed every competitor, exceeded every expectation." The remote clicked back together in Maya's hands. She tested it. Green light, working perfectly. But instead of immediately handing it to Marcus, she found herself frozen, staring at the device. 5 years. 5 years of arriving at 6 a.m. to have his coffee ready by 6:15. 5 years of staying until 10 p.m. to finish reports. He'd changed his mind about 3 times. 5 years of canceling weekend plans because Marcus had suddenly decided he needed her to prepare materials for Monday meetings. 5 years of being blamed for his mistakes and never credited for her solutions. "The secret to our success," Marcus was saying, completely unaware that Maya was having what could only be described as an out-of-body experience, "is that we don't settle, we don't compromise, we don't accept mediocrity from anyone, not from our competitors, not from our partners, and certainly not from ourselves." Maya's grip tightened on the remote. She thought about last Tuesday, when she'd worked 14 hours straight to prepare the quarterly reports, only to have Marcus tell the board that he'd pulled an all-nighter to get the numbers right. She thought about the Christmas party, where he'd introduced her to important clients as the girl who keeps me organized, while she was holding her MBA from Wharton, an MBA he knew about because she'd requested time off for graduation, and he'd denied it. "We've achieved this success because everyone in this room understands their role in our machine. Everyone knows exactly what's expected of them." The words hit Maya like a physical blow. Their role in our machine, not their contribution to our team, not their value to our success, their role in our machine. She looked up at Marcus, really looked at him, and for the first time in 5 years she didn't see her intimidating boss. She saw a man so disconnected from the people who made his success possible that he genuinely believed he'd built everything himself. The room was waiting. She could feel the collective attention shifting toward her, toward the woman holding the remote that would allow their fearless leader to continue his victory speech. Maya Chen had been invisible for 5 years. She'd been professional, efficient, and silent. She'd absorbed his criticism, fixed his mistakes, and made him look good to everyone who mattered. But as she stood there in her black blazer, the one she'd bought specifically for tonight because she thought it made her look more authoritative, something inside her cracked. "Mr. Stone," she said, her voice cutting through the expectant silence. The room wasn't large, but her words seemed to echo. Marcus turned to her with barely concealed impatience. "The remote, Maya. We're in the middle of... I resign." The words came out clearer than she'd expected, stronger. Maya surprised herself by how steady her voice was, considering her heart was beating so hard she was sure everyone could hear it. The room went dead silent. Someone's wine glass clinked against a table. The air conditioning hummed. Marcus's mouth opened slightly, closed, then opened again. "What did you just say?" Maya reached into her jacket and pulled out the folded resignation letter. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. "I said I resign, Mr. Stone, effective immediately." She placed the letter on the podium next to his speech notes and set the remote beside it. "You can figure out how to change the slides yourself. After all," she turned to address the room full of stunned executives, "Mr. Stone just told us that he built this empire all by himself." The silence stretched like a held breath. Maya could see board members exchanging glances, could feel the weight of 40 pairs of eyes, locked on this unprecedented moment. Marcus Stone, the man who'd made venture capitalists sweat during negotiations, who'd acquired 7 companies through sheer intimidation, was staring at his secretary like she'd just spoken in ancient Greek. "Maya," his voice was lower now, controlled, but she could hear something underneath it she'd never heard before. "Uncertainty. Let's discuss this privately. I'm obviously what?" Maya stepped closer to the podium, close enough that only Marcus could hear her next words. "Obviously ungrateful. Obviously overreacting. Obviously forgetting my place in your machine." Marcus's face went pale, then red. Maya had never interrupted him before. No one interrupted Marcus Stone. But Maya Chen was no longer just anyone. She was someone who'd finally remembered her own worth. The elevator ride to the parking garage felt like descending into another universe. Maya's reflection in the polished steel doors showed a woman she barely recognized, shoulders straight, chin up, eyes bright with something that looked dangerously like freedom. Her phone had been buzzing incessantly since she'd walked out of the conference room, but she ignored it. The parking garage was empty except for the luxury cars that screamed Silicon Valley success. Her modest Honda Civic looked embarrassingly out of place between a Tesla Model S and a Porsche 911, but for the first time in years, Maya didn't feel ashamed of it. She'd bought it with her own money, money she'd earned, not money that came with golden handcuffs. As she fumbled with her keys, she heard the elevator ding behind her. "Maya? Maya! Wait!" She turned to see David Kim jogging toward her, his bow tie askew and his usually perfect hair disheveled. David was Stone Dynamics VP of Operations and one of the few people in the company who'd ever bothered to learn her last name. "What you just did up there?" David stopped in front of her, breathing hard. "That was either the bravest thing I've ever seen or complete career suicide." Maya laughed, a sound that surprised them both. "Maybe both. He's not handling this well. After you left, he just stood there for maybe 30 seconds. I've never seen him speechless before. Jenny from PR had to step in and redirect everyone to the bar." The image of Marcus Stone, the man who'd once made a Fortune 500 CEO apologize for wasting his time, standing mute at a podium, should have felt like victory. Instead, Maya felt strangely hollow. "He'll survive," she said, clicking her car remote. "He always does." "Maya," David's voice was serious now. "You know he's going to come after you, right? Marcus doesn't let people just leave. Not like that, especially not you. What's he going to do, fire me?" Maya opened her car door. "I already quit, David. I'm free." But as she drove through the winding roads of Palo Alto, Maya's confidence began to crack. David was right. Marcus Stone didn't accept defeat, and in his mind what had happened tonight wasn't a resignation, it was mutiny. Her phone rang as she pulled into her apartment complex in Mountain View. Marcus's name flashed on the screen. She let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately, and again. Inside her small one-bedroom apartment, Maya poured herself a glass of wine and finally listened to her messages. The first was predictable Marcus, cold, controlled, demanding she return to the office immediately to discuss her outburst. The second was different. His voice was tighter, less certain. Maya, I don't know what's gotten into you, but this isn't like you. You're making a mistake, a big one. Call me back. The third message made her hands shake. You think you can embarrass me in front of my investors and just walk away? You signed an NDA, Maya. You signed a non-compete. You belong to this company for the next 2 years, whether you like it or not. Don't make me remind you who holds the cards here. Maya set down her wine glass and stared at her laptop. The non-compete agreement. In her moment of righteous anger, she'd forgotten about the contract she'd signed 3 years ago, the one that legally prevented her from working for any competing company for 24 months after leaving Stone Dynamics. Marcus had insisted on it after she'd helped him steal a major client from a rival firm. It's just a formality, he'd said. Someone with your access to sensitive information needs to be protected. We need to protect each other. She'd been flattered then. Someone with your access, like she was important, like she was trusted. Now she realized the truth. It had been a cage, disguised as a compliment. Her laptop chimed with an email notification. Marcus Stone sent 11:47 p.m. Subject line, immediate action required. Maya, your behavior tonight was unprofessional and unacceptable. However, I'm willing to overlook this lapse in judgment if you return to work Monday morning. We can discuss your concerns privately and reach a mutually beneficial arrangement. If you choose not to return, I'll have no choice but to enforce the full terms of your employment contract, including the non-compete clause and the confidentiality agreement. I'm sure you understand the implications. Your position will be held open until 9 a.m. Monday. M. Stone Maya read the email 3 times, each pass making her angrier. Even now, even after she'd publicly resigned, he was trying to control her. The message was clear: come back and submit, or be legally prevented from working anywhere else in the industry. She was crafting a response when her doorbell rang. At midnight, Maya's blood went cold. Marcus wouldn't show up at her apartment, would he? She looked through the peephole and saw a woman she didn't recognize, mid-40s, professional but not corporate, holding what looked like a manila folder. Who is it? Maya called through the door. My name is Sarah Martinez. I'm an attorney. I represent several former Stone Dynamics employees. I think we need to talk. Maya's heart hammered as she opened the door. Sarah Martinez was smaller than her voice suggested, with kind eyes and a firm handshake. How did you know? Word travels fast in Silicon Valley, Sarah said, especially when someone stands up to Marcus Stone in front of half the venture capital community. May I come in? Maya stepped aside, her mind racing. I don't understand. Former employees? Sarah sat on Maya's couch and opened the manila folder. Marcus Stone has a pattern, Maya. He finds talented, dedicated people, isolates them, makes them financially and professionally dependent on him, then uses legal contracts to keep them trapped. You're not the first person to wake up and realize what's happening. She pulled out a thick document. This is a class action lawsuit against Stone Dynamics. Wrongful termination, hostile work environment, contract manipulation. We've been building this case for 8 months. Maya stared at the papers. Names she recognized were listed as plaintiffs, people who'd mysteriously left the company over the past 2 years. What happened to you tonight, Sarah continued, was broadcast live on Stone Dynamics' internal stream to satellite offices. We have video of the entire thing, of you standing up to him, of his threats, of the way he tried to intimidate you back into submission. I don't want money, Maya said quietly. I just want to be free of him. Sarah smiled. Freedom is exactly what we're fighting for. And after tonight, Maya, you might just be the key to getting it. Outside her window, Maya could see the glow of Silicon Valley spreading toward San Francisco, millions of lights representing dreams and ambitions, and people trying to build something meaningful. For the first time in 5 years, she felt like she might actually be one of them. Maya didn't sleep that night. She sat at her kitchen table until dawn, reading through the class action lawsuit documents Sarah Martinez had left behind. Each page revealed another layer of Marcus Stone's systematic manipulation: employee contracts designed to create financial dependency, strategic isolation of high performers, and a pattern of legal intimidation that kept people trapped long after they wanted to leave. By 6 a.m. she'd made her decision. Her phone rang at exactly 7:30. Marcus, as punctual as always. This time she answered, Maya. His voice was different, not the cold control from last night, but something that almost sounded like relief. I knew you'd come to your senses. Jenny can have your office ready by... I'm not coming back, Marcus. Silence. Then, Maya, you're making a mistake that will destroy your career. Do you understand that? I own your professional reputation. One word from me, then say it. Maya surprised herself with how calm she sounded. Tell everyone I'm difficult. Tell them I'm disloyal. Tell them whatever story makes you feel powerful, but I'm not coming back. The non-compete agreement will be challenged in court, along with every other manipulative contract you've forced employees to sign. The pause stretched longer this time. When Marcus spoke again, his voice was deadly quiet. You have no idea what you're starting. Actually, Maya said, looking at Sarah Martinez's business card, I think I do. She hung up and immediately called Sarah. 2 hours later, Maya sat in a conference room at Martinez & Associates, surrounded by 5 other former Stone Dynamics employees. She recognized 3 of them, brilliant people who'd mysteriously decided to pursue other opportunities over the past 2 years. Maya, meet Rebecca Wu, Sarah said, gesturing to a woman Maya remembered as one of Stone Dynamics' top software engineers. Rebecca was terminated after she questioned Marcus's decision to rush a product launch without proper security testing. Rebecca nodded grimly. He fired me on a Friday and had security escort me out. Then he spread word through the industry that I was unstable and couldn't handle pressure. I've been unemployed for 8 months. This is James Rodriguez, Sarah continued, indicating a man Maya recognized from the finance department. James discovered Marcus was manipulating quarterly reports to inflate company valuations for investors. I tried to handle it internally first, James said. Went to HR, tried to work within the system. Marcus called it creative accounting and said I obviously didn't understand how Silicon Valley worked. When I pushed back, he found a way to fire me for performance issues. Suddenly, I had a reputation for being difficult to work with. Maya felt sick. How many others? 43 people over the past 5 years, Sarah said, all following the same pattern. Marcus identifies high performers, isolates them from their colleagues, makes them financially dependent through stock options and salary increases, then uses legal contracts and professional reputation destruction to control them. An older woman at the end of the table spoke up. I'm Linda Chen, no relation, she added with a weak smile. I was Marcus's first assistant before you. I lasted 3 years before I had a nervous breakdown. He convinced me it was my fault, that I couldn't handle the pressure of working at his level. It took me 2 years of therapy to realize I wasn't crazy. Maya stared at Linda. He never mentioned having an assistant before me. He never mentions anyone who leaves, Rebecca said. It's like we never existed. Complete erasure. Sarah opened another folder. Maya, what Marcus did to you last night, the public humiliation, the immediate threats, the after-hours intimidation, it's all documented. We have security footage from your building showing him drive by your apartment complex at 2 a.m. Maya's blood went cold. He was watching my apartment. Classic escalation pattern. Marcus doesn't just fire people who challenge him, he systematically destroys them. But this time he made a mistake. He threatened you in front of witnesses, and more importantly, he did it in front of potential investors and board members who are already nervous about the company's culture. James leaned forward. 3 board members have reached out to us since last night. They want to know if Marcus's behavior represents a liability to the company's IPO plans. IPO? Maya hadn't known Stone Dynamics was going public. Sarah nodded. Marcus has been planning to take the company public for months, an IPO worth potentially $2 billion. But public companies face much stricter scrutiny about workplace culture and executive behavior. What happened last night could derail everything. Rebecca pulled out her phone. It gets better. Someone recorded your resignation and posted it on LinkedIn. It's gone viral. Marcus Stone exposed is trending. Maya watched in amazement as her phone lit up with notifications. Friend requests, messages of support, job offers, interview requests from journalists. The video had been viewed over 200,000 times in less than 12 hours. This changes everything, Sarah said. Marcus can't make this disappear quietly. Too many people are watching now. But Maya, you need to understand, this also means he's going to come at you with everything he has. He'll try to destroy your reputation, challenge your character, maybe even pursue legal action for breach of contract or theft of trade secrets. What do I do? Linda Chen reached across the table and squeezed Maya's hand. You fight back. We all fight back. Together. Sarah spread out a new set of documents. We're expanding the lawsuit. Instead of just wrongful termination, we're adding charges of systematic workplace harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and fraudulent business practices. But we need someone with current, inside knowledge of Marcus's operations. Maya looked around the table at the faces of people who'd been where she was now, scared, angry, but finally ready to stop running. If this story is touching you in some way, comment where you're watching from. Every place has its own struggles, guys, and sometimes it's incredible to see how we all connect through such human stories. Her phone buzzed with a text from David Kim. Maya, Marcus just called an emergency board meeting. He's claiming you stole confidential files. He's also hired Brennan and Associates. They're the lawyers who destroyed that whistleblower at Tesla. Be careful. Maya showed the message to Sarah, who smiled grimly. Brennan and Associates. Marcus is scared. He's bringing in the biggest guns he can find. So what do? Sarah's eyes gleamed. We bring bigger guns. Maya, how would you feel about testifying before the Securities and Exchange Commission about Stone Dynamics business practices? Maya thought about Marcus's smug face during his speech last night, about Linda's nervous breakdown, about Rebecca's 8 months of unemployment, about all the talented people who'd been systematically destroyed for having the courage to challenge a tyrant. When do we start? 3 weeks later, Maya stood outside the Federal Building in San Francisco, watching news vans line up along the street. The SEC investigation had moved faster than anyone expected, partly because Marcus's panicked response to the viral video had included several questionable decisions that caught federal attention. Sarah Martinez straightened Maya's blazer, not the same black one from the anniversary party, but a navy blue one that made her feel powerful rather than invisible. Remember, just tell the truth. That's all you need to do. Inside the building, Maya's phone buzzed with a message from David Kim. Maya, you should know, Marcus fired 6 people yesterday. Anyone who ever worked closely with you. He's trying to eliminate potential witnesses. Maya showed the message to Sarah, who grimaced. That's witness intimidation. We'll add it to the list. The hearing room was smaller than Maya had expected, but the weight of what was happening felt enormous. Across the room, Marcus sat with 3 lawyers from Brennan and Associates, looking every inch the confident CEO, except for one tell Maya recognized. He was clicking his pen compulsively, something he only did when deals weren't going his way. Their eyes met for a moment. Marcus's expression was unreadable, but Maya saw something she'd never seen before: uncertainty. For 5 years, she'd been afraid of disappointing him, afraid of his anger, afraid of being fired. Now, looking at him across a federal hearing room, she felt only pity. Ms. Chen, the SEC attorney began, please describe your role at Stone Dynamics and your relationship with CEO Marcus Stone. Maya took a breath. For 5 years, I was Mr. Stone's executive secretary. But secretary doesn't really capture what the job involved. I managed his schedule, handled his correspondence, prepared reports, managed crisis communications, and had access to all of his business dealings. I was essentially the person who kept his professional life functioning. And during those 5 years, did you observe any practices that concerned you? Maya thought about Linda Chen's nervous breakdown, about Rebecca Wu's 8 months of unemployment, about James Rodriguez trying to work within the system only to be systematically destroyed. Yes, many. For the next hour, Maya detailed everything. The manipulated quarterly reports James had discovered, the deliberate rushing of product launches without safety testing, the systematic isolation and destruction of employees who showed independence, the use of legal contracts as weapons of control rather than legitimate business tools. Marcus's lead attorney, a sharp-featured woman named Patricia Brennan, tried to discredit Maya during cross-examination. Ms. Chen, isn't it true that you were terminated for insubordination? I resigned, publicly, in front of 40 witnesses, after having what could be described as an emotional breakdown. Maya smiled. Ms. Brennan, if standing up to workplace abuse is an emotional breakdown, then yes, I had one, and I'd have it again. You were paid very well for your position, weren't you? Nearly double the market rate for executive assistants. Yes, and now I understand why. The extra money wasn't a reward. It was a chain. Mr. Stone deliberately overpaid employees to create financial dependency, making it harder for us to leave when we realized what kind of environment we were working in. Marcus leaned forward to whisper something to his attorney, but Maya could see the tension in his shoulders. This wasn't going the way he'd planned. The most damaging moment came when the SEC attorney played the recording of Marcus's voicemail threats from the night Maya resigned. "You belong to this company for the next 2 years, whether you like it or not. Don't make me remind you who holds the cards here." The words echoed in the silent hearing room. Several board members testifying via video link visibly winced. During a break, Maya stepped outside for air and found Marcus waiting by the elevators. His lawyers were nowhere in sight. Maya, he looked older than she remembered, tired in a way that expensive suits couldn't hide. "This doesn't have to destroy both of us. I'm not trying to destroy you, Marcus. I'm trying to free the people you've trapped. You have no idea what you're dealing with. The business world isn't some idealistic college campus. It's war. I taught you that. I made you stronger." Maya stared at him. "You didn't make me stronger. You tried to make me smaller. The strength was always mine. I just forgot it for a while. Everything I did to build something great, to create jobs, to innovate, to feed your ego." Maya's voice was gentle, which seemed to hurt him more than anger would have. "Marcus, you're brilliant. You could have built something great without destroying people, but you chose to rule through fear instead of inspire through leadership." Marcus's mask slipped for just a moment, and Maya saw something that looked like regret. "I don't know how to do this any other way." "Then learn. It's not too late to be better." That afternoon, the SEC announced they were launching a full investigation into Stone Dynamics' business practices. The company's stock price plummeted. 3 board members resigned. The IPO was indefinitely postponed. But the real victory came 2 days later, when Maya's phone rang with a call from David Kim. "Maya, you're not going to believe this. Marcus just sent an email to all employees. He's dissolving all non-compete agreements effective immediately. He's also establishing a $50 million fund for employee education and transition assistance." Maya sat down hard in her chair. "What?" "And he's stepping down as CEO. The board is conducting a search for new leadership." "Maya, I think you actually did it. You changed him." 6 months later, Maya stood in her own office, Director of Employee Relations at a startup founded by 3 former Stone Dynamics engineers, including Rebecca Wu. The company's core values were posted on the wall behind her desk: transparency, respect, collective success. Her phone buzzed with a LinkedIn message from someone she didn't recognize. "Hi Maya, I just saw your TED Talk about workplace courage. I'm dealing with a similar situation at my company. Would you be willing to talk?" Maya smiled and started typing back. Linda Chen had been right. They all fought back, together. And it had made all the difference. And now that you've reached the end, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Your presence matters, and your story does too. Outside her window, Silicon Valley glittered with the same ambitious energy it always had. But Maya Chen was no longer invisible in its glow. She was part of the light.